What do I mean by a core group within a parish or charismatic group setting? What in the world are we talking about? Well, I don't like the term leadership team personally, because I think the idea of we're so inoculated into this idea that leadership is something that is hierarchical, that carries an authority, human authority, and we end up with a us and them mentality. And I think we really have to knock that in the head, this us and them mentality. Unless we work on it constantly, it's going to creep in. That's why, for a start, a core team, in my experience, needs to meet at least every 2 weeks for an extended period of time, 2 or 3 hours, because it's about learning to trust each other, learning to be with each other. It's not another committee. It's about building a resilient team with different skills, different ministries, different spiritual gifts. And the first thing is, I would offer to you that however quirky an individual is, unless they have some kind of spiritual fruit in their life that's evident, unless there's some kind of spiritual gifting in their life that's evident, then they might not be ready to be part of a core team. They might need to be, a little bit more spiritual development in their life. And the Holy Spirit might overrule that and say, I want so-and-so into your core team regardless, and that's fine if that's the case. First of all, there's some really good resources out there in our parish and in the Shalom Charismatic community that falls on me to lead. We've been truly blessed by the ministry of Divine Renovation. You might want to make a note of that. Divine Renovation. If you're in the United Kingdom, it's Divine Renovation UK. And it's a ministry from Father James Mullen in Canada. They do seminars, Zoom meetings, training sessions here across the United Kingdom, and our own parish priest has been gracious enough to take me and some other people within the parish to a number of these conferences and meetings, and every single one of them has been tremendously beneficial. During lockdown, they've been running free seminars via Zoom that have been phenomenally useful, and they are focused on team building. They're not weird, they're grounded, they're Catholic, but they're at the same time evangelical, because as Catholics we should be evangelical. In other words, sharing the gospel. Otherwise, we're not being Catholic. It might be evangelical with a small e rather than a large one, but this idea that we are just sacramental people is complete and total nonsense. Unless the sacraments get out of the church building into our lives, and our lives begin to reflect Christ, then we're living in a religious bubble that lacks authenticity out on the streets. So Divine Renovation, that's number one. The second resource that I really, really recommend is Alpha in a Catholic context. Now, if you're not a Catholic, you can just go to alpha.co.uk, whatever it is, or Alpha, whatever country you're in. The Alpha course has been phenomenally successful. It came out of Holy Trinity Brompton Anglican Church, and these guys have been tremendously generous in sharing the small group concept worldwide, including within the Catholic context. And you can run Alpha online now, or you can run it face to face. And the beauty of Alpha within team building is that to effectively run Alpha, you really, really need to have a core team of volunteers who are praying for the outreach, that are facilitating the outreach in terms of food, hospitality and so forth, and who are leading the discussions or facilitating the discussions that come about when you have people that perhaps are exploring faith for the very first time. So if you want a head start on how to build a team, check out Divine Renovation, check out Alpha, and then the other one is very anointed woman of God, Sherry Wadell, and she has got many resources. It was my privilege to meet Sherry at Maryville about a year ago when she came to lecture there, and just what she's saying just really clicks with my spirit. I got to chat with her afterwards briefly. Unfortunately, it would have been great if it had a bit longer time, but do recommend her book Intentional Discipleship, and she's also got a very active forum on Facebook. So that's 3 resources: Divine Renovation UK, Alpha, or Alpha in a Catholic context, and Sherry Wadell, Intentional Discipleship, and her Facebook forum. Right, so that's enough to be going on with for the time being. See you on the next teaching.